Welcome to DBC. Today we're continuing with nonviolent communication, and we'll be covering the chapter on requests. So we've done a lot of things so far. We've talked about observations and how to actually observe. Also talked about how to identify our actual feelings and the needs that cause them. And then now it's about requesting a behavior or behaviors that might fulfill our own needs. So the question is, how do we do that? There's three things in the video today. Number one, what's a proper request? Two things to make a proper request. How to pre-frame our requests, and we want to make sure that they're heard well. How to make sure that our requests have been heard accurately. And then the idea of requests versus demands. So first one is the two categories that all requests should have, according to Rosenberg. So how do we express them so that people are more willing to respond compassionately to our needs? Number one is it must be a positive action. For example, I want you not to smoke, for example. So don't do X, as opposed to like, I would like for you, or will you spend 2 nights at home per week with your family? It's a request, right? So it's specific, again, back to specific. Also, this should focus on things that people can undertake, actions they can undertake. So for example, like as opposed to like, oh, let me be me. Like, okay, what does that mean? It's very vague. And it provokes defensiveness too, because it implies that you're not letting them be you. And then the idea is that when you say X, can you tell me more specifically what you mean, to kind of dig a level deeper. So something that you want them to actually do as opposed to not do, and then an action is a measurable action that can be taken or not. So this can be embarrassing for people to try, and that's okay. It's a normal thing to feel that way. And another thing is, once we've made our request, is to make sure that we have been understood. And how do we do that? Is we ask the person who's listening to us or talking with us to reflect back what they've heard from us. Then next thing we should do is to express appreciation at their attempt. So like, I'm grateful to you for telling what you heard. If they got it right, great. If not, then we can pivot from there. Additionally, we can also pre-frame this to avoid sarcastic or passive-aggressive remarks about this idea. So if we explain ahead of time why we may sometimes ask people to reflect back our words. We do this, we're not testing or challenging their listening skills, but I want to make sure that I can express myself clearly, because that's something that I struggle with sometimes. So if you put it on yourself, then they don't think that you're thinking they're dumb or something. And then a couple things you might want to know after a request, like what kind of feelings that they have going on inside, what are their thoughts about the request, and of course, are they willing to take the action that you've requested? Because it's a free choice if it's a request. And then make everything in all of this very specific. And one quick note on making requests of a group is that we want to ask, like, are your needs being met by the current discussion if we're having a group discussion? And whenever we address a group, we must be clear and specific in what we want back from them, just like with an individual. And then at some point, he tells a story about in India how they have there's a word that they speak where they say this word, and that means like, okay, you made your point, and I understand you. No need. I'm satisfied. Last thing here is requests versus demands. So a demand has 2 options: submit to the demand or rebel against the demand. And others will believe that they will be blamed or punished if they don't comply. As opposed to that, a request is a free, consequenceless choice. So one question, if you're in doubt, how do we tell the difference between them? So how does the speaker respond if the sentence is not complied with, if the person declines the request? So the idea here is that it's a request, it's a free, consequences, and it's a choice. So I am lonely and I would like you to spend the evening with me, for example, is one example. And then we want to define our objective when we make a request. The objective here is honest, empathic relationships, not compliance. So this is if you're into sales or all that. This is really interesting psychology. That's not what this is. The goal here is not compliance. It's honest, empathic, compassionate relationships. One quick heads up that Rosenberg gives is that some people that have received many commands from authority figures, for example, they might interpret your request as a demand, just due to their way that they've been programmed. And if they do this, you could ask, this is where it gets a little deep, but he says, how can I let you know what I am wanting from you so it doesn't sound like I don't care about what you would like? And then presumably if they understand the question, they will tell you how to speak with them. That is what Rosenberg has to say about requests. And we're less than halfway down with the book, so I'm curious to see what he has to say moving forward, because we've talked about the 4 processes of nonviolent communication. Thanks for watching.